If you're new to bodyweight training and calisthenics but are struggling to find a proven workout routine that's actually going to deliver you results, stay tuned my friend, because in today's video I'm going to help you solve exactly that by giving you a complete beginner calisthenics full body routine. Crew members, welcome back to the channel my friends. How you doing today? But if you're not currently on board the Gain Straight Express, you should do so by subscribing to the channel and turning on post notifications, because if you're new to bodyweight training and calisthenics, this is your home of bodyweight strength training. So hit that button and turn on that bell. Right, so starting out with this routine, we are going to start with a superset, and the first part of the superset is going to be scapular retractions or scapula pull ups, which is a fantastic exercise, as the name suggests, for strengthening the scapula to optimize your pull up strength. So what you want to do is that you want to hang from a bar with about a mid grip just outside shoulder width apart, palms facing away from you, and from a passive hang you're going to retract and depress the scapula by pinching the shoulder blades together whilst keeping the elbows straight. Then after you've completed this, return back to the starting position and repeat for repetitions. And as this is a straight arm exercise, you want to treat it by actually pulling straight, because if you treat it like a pull-up by bending the elbows, you're not going to maximize the stimulation, activation of the scapular muscles. So if you want to get optimal results, make sure you're doing the exercise with proper form. And so once you've completed this exercise, you want to move on to the second parent of the superset, which is assisted dips. And this can be done with manual assistance or with a resistance band. And in this video, I'm going to show you with resistance bands, because the progression is very easy in the sense that, of course, with a group of bands, the heavier the resistance, the easier the exercise is going to be. And so to progress it, you simply lighten the weight of the band in order to decrease the amount of assistance it provides to your upper body. And in order to get to the unassisted dip as fast as possible, you want to make sure you're using the bands with an optimal time under tension, in the sense that because of the different range and strength curve and the assistance that bands will provide as they stretch and shorten, the absolute key with band dips is to pause at the bottom and pause at the top. This is going to ensure that you don't actually rely on the momentum of just coming back and forth with bands, and that you're using nothing other than pure strength in the upper body. And if you're looking for a full dip tutorial to know all the progressions and the exact formed cues to master your dips as fast as possible, check out the card here, as I'll link you to a tutorial of mine I've already got on this YouTube channel. Right, so the second superset I'm going to go through will be a combination of body rows and push-ups. And so starting with body rows, this can be done with a pronated grip or neutral grip, but all you need to know is that combining body rows with scapular pull-ups is the perfect combination to create optimal back strength and stability to fasten your pull-up game as best as possible. So in a tabletop stance or a reverse plank, you want to ensure your body is nice, solid and rigid. So with your core embraced, spine neutral, neck neutral, glutes engaged and squeezed tight, you're going to pull your chest to the bar or to the rings, depending on what you're performing them on. Raise that sternum up to the surface and then lower back down with control, and repeat for repetitions. The better you perform this exercise, the more results you're simply going to gain from it. And in terms of progressions and regressions, the more horizontal you are to the surface you're pulling from, the harder it's going to be, and the more of an incline you're at, the easier it's going to be. So make sure you scale at an intensity in which you can manage, but is challenging in order to force muscle growth and strength adaptations. So combined with body rows, the next part of the superset, we're going to do strict push-ups, and this is purely for the intent to actually ensure that you're using nothing, no momentum, no kipping, other than pure strength and control. So a good rep tempo for this exercise would be something like a 2-second eccentric, pausing at the bottom for a second, pressing back up and squeezing at the peak contraction for a second. If you don't learn how to activate and engage your scapula, your lower back, your glutes and your core from the basic push-up alone, you're going to struggle severely in the long term with advanced push-up variations, as I had to learn the hard way myself. So master the basics in order to make the more advanced progressions far easier in the long term. Right, so as we finish with the main upper body compound exercises, let's move on to the lower body. And one of the best exercises you can do when starting calisthenics for squats is side-to-side squats, because here we're building strength and mobility at the same time in order to condition our hips, our knees, our ankles, all that good stuff for more advanced leg exercises such as the one leg squat and the pistol squat. While maintaining square hips, you want to shift your body weight over to one side, and then when you press back up to starting position, you complete the exact same cues on the opposite side. And by the way, there is also a full pistol squat tutorial on this YouTube channel already, so make sure to check that out if that tickles your fancy. So as this will strengthen more the anterior muscles of your lower body, we want to strengthen more the posterior muscles as well, such as the glutes and the hamstrings to a large extent. And we're going to do that by pairing this squat with elevated hamstring bridges. Ensure that your core remains active and that you're pulling in with the heels as opposed to pushing out with the hips. Because if you push out, you're going to simply activate more of the quads, i.e. the front of your thighs, rather than the glutes and the hamstrings in the posterior chain, which defeats the whole point of the exercise. And also, to ensure you're maximally contracting and activating the glutes and hamstrings, ensure that you aren't pressing back with your back as well. The harder route is also the more effective route. And also to note, there's two key ways in which you can progress or regress this exercise. So starting out with the hand positioning. If your hands are in contact with the floor, that's going to create more stability, making the exercise easier. If you place your hands by your chest, it's going to make it a lot harder for your glutes and hamstrings, which will force them to regrow stronger. As well as the hands, you can also manipulate what you're doing with your ankles and your feet. So if your toes are in contact with the ground, that's going to activate more of your glutes. And as your glutes are actually your strongest muscle group in your body, this will be easier as opposed to only having your heels in contact with the surface you're pulling from, and will activate more of the hamstrings. So just to note that down based on your goals, strength levels, all that good stuff. Now finishing this workout, we're going to do some core work, and starting out with the anterior core, we're going to do single leg raises. And as mentioned in my hollow body tutorial, you want to ensure that with these types of exercise, your lower back stays fixed to the ground. Do not let it arch into an anterior pelvic tilt, my friend. All about squeezing the glutes, embracing the core, and maintaining a posterior pelvic tilt. And as you raise one leg up, pause at the top for a second or two whilst keeping the knee relatively straight, come back down and repeat on the other side for the equal number of repetitions. And just as a note, when you first do this exercise, it's definitely going to burn, but trust me, it will be worth it. And last but not least, we're going to pair this anterior dominant exercise with a posterior dominant exercise by doing unilateral arch body raises. So after lying on your back, you're now going to lie on your stomach, flip around, and while maintaining a neutral neck, you want to raise one arm up whilst simultaneously raising the opposing leg up at the same time behind you. Squeeze at the top whilst keeping both limbs straight, and then when you return to the starting position, repeat on the opposite side for equal repetitions. So with this routine, this could be adjusted to your strength, goals and needs, but as a good rule of thumb, I recommend that for each exercise you perform 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps. And in terms of explaining the supersets, if you have one superset, after you've completed the first half of the superset, I suggest you rest for 30 to 60 seconds before moving on to the second part of the superset. Then once you've completed that exercise, that's one full superset, i.e. one full set complete. So you then want to rest for another 1 to 2 minutes before completing another set. And so that's it. If you follow this routine accordingly and progress at your own pace, your scapula, your core, all the muscles from top to bottom are going to be far stronger, and as a result, you're going to finally gain the results you desire. So with that said, if you enjoyed this video, you like this content, you enjoyed watching every single minute of this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below that this video came at good hand to you. And if you've done this routine and you're gaining results from it, also leave that down in the comment section below. That'd be pretty awesome to hear, actually. And so as I'll leave you with that to enjoy, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, stay beautiful.